Welcome back to Wrist Check Podcast, episode 24. We've got some special guests with us today. Nora Taylor.
Hello.
And Tiffany Wade,
Hello.
both from Hodinkee. Before we get into tonight's episode, for those of you who are listening and not watching, via pro tip I got recently on a visit to the AP house, we've discovered recently how many people are actually listening versus watching and can't tell our voices apart. So a gentleman was so kind to give me a pro tip. I think his name is Steven. Steven, if you're listening, thank you.
Shout out to Steven if you're listening.
Shout out to Steven.
So for those of you who are just tuning in and who don't know us or know our voices, my name is Perry. And my two co-hosts here are...
I'm Ben.
And Rashawn.
And we make up the Wrist Check Podcast. Now, getting into tonight's episode. But before that, we have to have an honorary wrist check. Who's kicking us off?
I mean,
the man who never repeats a watch.
Yes.
Let's do it.
So, yet another watch.
So you got at least 24.
I got at least 24 watches.
Dang's right.
This piece is very, 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 very special.
So I'm sorry, I know I always interrupt you. You know what's funny is one of my friends, my dear friend Eddie, who watches the show, he texted me. He said, you know, every watch is very, very special to Rashawn.
Well,
so this is very special watch number 24.
I think when he tells us about this watch, we'll realize it's actually very special.
Yes.
This one is.
This is it.
Okay.
So this one is actually very special. It was gifted to me by a really good friend, a brother, a client of mine, just like, and everything to me. This guy, just like, there's no words to sum up our relationship. It's just very special. And I just have to say, this was an amazing gift. It was very thoughtful because if we go back to episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, we covered this timepiece.
We did.
So I am actually rocking the Studio Underdog chronograph with the eggplant dial.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny story about this piece is that it's an April Fool's joke. So initially it was to be rumored that the dial was made out of eggplant skin.
Actual eggplant.
Yeah,
So it's supposed to be made out of actual eggplant skin. So after speaking to Richard, the founder, marketing director,
he does
designer,
everything of
watchmaker, everything. Shout out to Richard of Studio Underdog. He gave me some clarification after DMing back and forth for hours at a time. He said that it was a joke and that this is actually just a stamp.
Yeah,
dial.
when we reviewed this watch,
I don't think we caught on to that.
no, I fell for it. We thought that this was a watch that, like a pair of like leather with patina over time, that the eggplant dial would actually wrinkle.
Well, the funniest thing was
Shame
that
on me.
You got us, Richard.
No, you definitely got us.
Everybody gets one.
I was like, it's so cool. Oh my God.
Well, why he really got everyone was because he shared photos of the
Of like an aged dial.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So he shared the photos. But then the funniest thing was he took them down. So when I knew that I was like speaking to him directly, I didn't want to sound like I didn't have any information on the watch. I was like, man, so you know, I'm looking at this watch and it has a little bit of texture, but I can't tell if it's real eggplant skin. So he was like, that's actually a joke. But it was so cool because not only was there a connection with me and the timepiece, it's actually a connection now with me and the actual watchmaker, which, like, you know, we've spoken about before how powerful it is to kind of bridge that gap of the consumer and the brand.
Mm-hmm. What's cool about his brand too is that it's incredibly popular. They're all super limited, pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah.
You get a lot of watch for the value.
It has a beautiful exhibition case back.
And they're a
It's
lot
the-
of fun.
That's the Fratello edition, right? So
Yeah, so this one is numbered.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one is numbered, so number 14 of 50.
That's awesome, man.
14 isn't a significant number for me. I do like even numbers. But
It's that number's not very special.
The plot thickens.
the number, yo, it'd have been so.
I do like even numbers.
I do like even numbers.
Long walks
What
on
if
the
you got your
beach.
birthday?
That would have been sick if I'd have got my birthday. If it would have been the 8th, that would be sick. But 14, I guess, lucky 14. Yeah, I
Okay,
guess
sure.
that's what I'll call
Well,
it.
congratulations on the new timepiece.
Thank you.
Respect.
Yet another one.
Let's mix it up and change direction. Nora, what do you have for us today?
I have on the Judith Lieber Timex
Awesome.
rose gold. Just a
Fire.
basic Timex covered in a bunch of crystals.
It's dope.
And it is a watch that I reviewed and I was like, I would never wear this watch. And now it has become my everyday watch.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Bust down Timexes. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
If it's your personality.
Thank you.
Playful, fun, colorful. It's
Were-
awesome.
If I'm not mistaken, were those crystals? Those are Swarovski
Mhm.
collab, right? Yeah, those are good.
I didn't want to.
Flex.
Want to brand? Yeah.
Gotta flex. You're on
You
this
have to
check pod. Yeah, you gotta flex.
What do you have on the wrist,
I'm
Tiffany?
wearing the limited edition Mercy Hodinkee watch.
Tight.
Can't
That's
talk
really
about
nice.
My bracelet, but
I love the hour markers.
thanks.
Like the
I like the typeface
typography.
on it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that's what made me.
It
get this
reminds me
watch.
of like an IWC. A little bit.
I feel like
It's like a
good
cross between an
starter
IWC and like a Nomos.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the stack is good too.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
bracelets.
like the stack.
Gotta love a good stack.
I'm always rocking the bracelet.
Dime piece
Even
would
though
be
there's a lot
probably
of
stack.
haters on these bracelets.
Oh, yeah.
Comments.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh.
But you know,
That's why we don't look in the comment section.
Yeah.
What do you got on the wristband? What are you working with
I'm
today?
rocking the wrist and coat John special,
The JJ.
the 5168G, the green dial. Some people
Green
call
dial,
this
green
a
strap.
hand grenade. I think that's a little corny, but
It's the Ninja Turtle.
I rock it. Yeah, I call it that.
Yeah,
Leonardo, Donatello, whoever you want.
sure.
Pick your poison, whoever's your favorite. But it's a good one. It's white gold, green strap. Green's fun fact. John and I share a favorite color is green. So he was wearing it today, and I took it from him.
I joined that party.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's why I'm rocking all green now.
Okay, there you go. 3 people. Green's our
Everyone's
favorite color.
rocking green
Yeah,
button.
wow.
If
Look
you're
at
taking
that.
notes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, look at that. The Green Boys are back in town.
Yup.
Respect.
What you got on, Perry?
I'm also wearing a JJ special. JJ is a friend of ours. John from Wrist & Co. Not that other Wrist & Co. We know about that guy. Different Wrist & Co. But I'm rocking John's Blacked Out Daytona. John is a friend of the show. He's a friend of ours. You will see him on the show soon.
Welcome to the mob.
Yeah.
Yes.
And John has a lot of watches, and he only has 2 wrists, so
So when he
pass them
don't
around
run,
a
we
little
do.
bit. Now, getting right into it, ladies, welcome to Wrist Check Podcast.
Thanks for having
I
us.
promise you, there's only water in my cup. Welcome. It's good to have you. This has been some time in the making. We started talking individually, and then we ran into each other at the Complecto event.
Yes.
And we just had Jason on last week, and that was a lot of fun. And then we're able to make all this happen. So I'm glad to finally have you two on the show. Welcome.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So getting right into it, let's start with who you are first. Nora, where are you from? Who are you?
I'm Nora. I'm from Chicago.
Shy City.
Yeah. Right now, I'm the deputy editor at Hodinkee. Been there for about a year. I live in Flatbush.
Brook Lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
oh, it's my go. I'm Tiffany. I'm from West Orange, Montclair. And
New
I'm
Jersey in the house.
Jersey, born and raised, and I'm still in Jersey. So,
Respect.
yep, come out to New York a lot, obviously.
Nice.
There we go. So the two of you work for Hodinkee.
Indeed.
Indeed. How did you find your way there? How did that happen? How do you go from just
I go first.
You go first. You've been there longer.
being a young lady in West Orange, New Jersey, Montclair, to one of the most happening watch media retail outlets on the .com space?
Well, there's notches on the belt. That's
Okay.
definitely have happened for me to get to Hodinkee.
Sure.
So I've definitely shot watches before I made it to Hodinkee. I was working for a company shooting diamonds, and of course I shot watches with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's where I learned a lot about watches because of my coworker actually I worked with, and I was looking for a new job,
Respect.
new opportunity.
There we go.
And I ended up at Hodinkee. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I first started. I didn't understand the capacity of what Hodinkee was.
How long ago was this? This
was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So, I ended up at Hodinkee, and before I knew it, I probably shot just about almost any watch. It's been in this room.
Did you
come past my head?
Did you love watches before Hodinkee?
Honestly, I didn't have a love for watches before I got to Hodinkee at all. Watches weren't my thing. It wasn't anything I was interested in. It wasn't anything that I thought would become anything. It just ended up falling on my lap.
Sure.
If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. I
So,
think a lot of people actually felt that way from even the opposite side of the spectrum.
I think photographing watches is what got me interested
Tight.
in it. I couldn't tell you that a dial was a dial when I first started working at Hodinkee.
Sure.
So I got taught a lot.
You know the anatomy.
Yeah.
Respect.
I remember Cole Pennington, shout out to Cole every day for this.
You're a New Jersey guy.
I was like, the face on that watch tip, it's a dial.
Yeah.
It's a dial. So, yeah.
Shout out to Cole.
Yeah, it's so cool when you actually find what you love from, something that just like fell into your lap, like you said. We kind of have shared that before, like, we collected watches or like, had like some kind of interest in watches, but didn't think about taking it to the levels that we have in creating this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's very impressive when, you're actually really great at what you do and it wasn't even something that you even intended to be into. So it's really, really cool.
You actually, you do take really great wrist shots. Like, I sent that picture you took of me at Complecto, which was like just of my wrist, not even my face. I sent it to everybody I know.
Oh, yeah? Thank you.
Yo, look at my wrist, dog.
Look at my wrist.
Tons of compliments. Nora, how'd you wind up at Hodinkee? You were in Chicago. How's a Chicagoan wind up at one of the hottest watch platforms?
So I had like a couple of jobs out of college that weren't media jobs. And then I moved to New York and started working for like an interior design lifestyle website.
Okay.
Did that, worked at a fashion website, went back and worked in interiors and home space again. And then I got an email. My now boss Nick knew the convention of like emailing someone at Condé Nast. So I got
Marino? Okay, cool.
I got a very bold email to my current job from Nick.
Nice.
Like,
come work for Death Row.
I was like, just want to talk. I know this seems maybe out of the blue. Like, what could watches have to do with design? And we just had a series of really great conversations. And I was like, yeah, this seems like something interesting and new and exciting to do.
And so now you've been with them for just a year.
Yeah, I hit a year at the end of April.
Where were you were you at the other place just before that?
Yeah, I was at Architectural Digest.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Because I also remember seeing you on, there was like a couple episodes of Crown and Caliber.
Yeah, that was 2 months after I got there.
Wow.
They were again like, go to Atlanta with Cole and talk about watches. And I'm like, I don't know anything, but sure.
That's what I was
You
gonna
held
ask.
your own. Those episodes were great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
because it's like, did you have a passion in watches prior? Did you collect watches, wear watches?
No, I have always, like, I've had a kind of tertiary interest in them as sort of accessories, where it was like, I know what I think looks cool, and I know the big brands, but I don't know anything about kind of the watch world, watch enthusiasm necessarily. But I think I was also kind of drawn to the fact that everything I've done has been really broad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I worked at a very broad fashion and lifestyle website. Design can be pretty broad. And I was like, it'd be really interesting to sort of dig into kind of a
Something
culture
specific.
and something so specific.
Okay.
And I've always been interested in kind of really seemingly kind of absurdly expensive and nice things to just be kind of like,
Oh.
all right, why? And like, who's
Yeah.
buying this? And
Love
just
that.
stuff that is so kind of different from the way that I kind of grew up spending my money and time and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, especially, I think Hodinkee in a lot of ways was a catalyst for this, because prior, these groups of people that were collecting watches and talking watches, it wasn't obviously it wasn't on this scale, but it didn't feel like there was any sort of like culture brewing behind at that time. It was just sort of like these were guys who were into this and they got together and they talked techniques, design, and very casual, very like off to the side, like not in your face. And then Hodinkee hits the scene and it's like now there's just this injection of culture. And then when you see what's happened like since the start of COVID to like now, if you want to say like post COVID, it's exploded into other communities where they're starting to blossom and grow. Like we had Tom on the show recently. We spent like an hour talking to him just about like the relationship between the streetwear community and where that's going with timepieces and watches now. It's really interesting.
And after starting in Hodinkee, I kind of realized how much of the watch culture I just sort of picked up. Like for years, I'd been singing Audemars Piguet watch and Upgrade You without really like understanding. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah. And I know that he was in it. And like it all kind of comes together.
It kind of clicks now. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what you guys were talking about all along.
just a fancy European name that I didn't
Thanks,
know.
Hov.
And then,
That's like when we were doing the last game with Jason, and it was like just like hip hop lyrics. Talking.
Well,
about
now it's
watches.
funny because now you can go back and you can kind of tell, all right, who was on top of this.
Yes.
And Jay was.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Jay, of
I mean,
course.
it's all the name drops, and it's like, I didn't even, it's like, Watch the Throne, he's dropping like Richard Mille, and it's like, everyone's like, what the hell is that guy?
Exactly. It's very true.
So in terms of the time spent at Hodinkee, and now you two find yourselves in this buzzing watch world, what's it been like sort of cutting your teeth in this industry? What's the experience like?
Cutting teeth as in like.
Like making your way, like putting your name down, planting your flag.
I mean,
Do you even think about it in that way? I mean,
I don't think I thought about it in that way. Because I didn't like join Hodinkee on regards of like trying to make a name for myself. I kind of joined like, oh, this is just like my job. I'm gonna shoot the stuff and keep it moving.
Yeah.
And I guess like it became, watch photography became a thing as I was working at Hodinkee. Like I don't think it was a thing when I first started, but now it seems to be like
It is a thing.
it's blown up.
There's a lot of people trying their hands at it that shouldn't.
So like
I'm one of them.
So like I feel like it just came about in its own way, and I didn't try to like be like a great watch photographer.
But do you? I'm curious. Do you ever see anything online? And you're like, that's
Like,
something that I would do, or that's something that I did.
I weirdly see stuff and I did shoot it.
Oh, and you don't even.
Wow.
It's just like I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
With stuff like that, because it wasn't like I tried to get my name out. My name like kind of got out. Like I remember in the beginning, people were calling me like a sharpshooter or something.
There we go.
There were like little weird names. Like I was this like
Hodinkee sharpshooter.
yeah, like this little Hodinkee like spy or something.
Wow.
So like we found out who Tiffany Wade was. And yeah, this is me. So I don't know what to say.
It's funny because it's like we meet so many people now, like who are in this world who, much like yourself, like it was just a job. Now you're into it. It's turning into like a passion, to some degree for you. But then like don't realize like how much of a big deal they are to some other people.
Yes.
Like in certain circles, you're like, yo, this Tiffany Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
That's crazy though.
Take my picture.
exactly.
I might just come up to you and ask me for the picture.
Yo, when we saw you, we were like, what?
Exactly.
Yo, she's taking wrist shots?
Rashad, me? Where do I go?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely.
Yeah.
have to
No,
get a
we love
photo.
your work. And you don't post a lot of it yourself online, but we see it all over the place.
I'm working on that. it's it's I'm doing a lot of other work to
Sure.
kind of like put my own work out there. So it's a little hard to have that time to put my own work out there, but it's coming. I'm working on it.
That's cool to know. So what is your own work in terms of like your photography style? What is the passion that drives you getting behind a camera? What do you like to shoot?
Like the passion that drives me getting behind the camera told me not to get behind the camera. But like I think I put like my favorite things to shoot is like a lot of film stuff.
Yeah.
So for Geneva, when we did the Watching Wonders, and I did the whole 35 millimeter black and white photography mixed with some color. That was actually my first time shooting color film. But that's what drove me to start photography and to pick up a camera. And then like my dad was a photographer, so he told me like in college I was doing advertising as a major.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm changing my major to photography.
Yeah.
He's like, don't do it. You'll never make money a day in your life. And I was like, oh, don't do it? Yeah, I'm going to go and do it. So, he's like glad that I made that decision.
That's awesome.
That's what drove me to like really pick up a camera. And it's been his camera that what drives me around. So like that was the camera I bought to Geneva. Yeah. That's the camera I still have. And it's just like, you have like you guys have watch collections, I have a camera collection.
Oh, tight. Amazing. That's dope.
Yeah, it's like a nonstop collection.
Yeah. And Nora, so for you, I've read some of your stories on Hodinkee. There was one recently that you posted that was really cool about the new the Vacheron collection that dropped.
Oh,
yeah, with the was it like the 12 different
the Great Civilizations?
Yeah. So like you coming from a space where and I do get the shared spirit, but like watches are new to you. How are you finding this new career path? Like what's driving that? Are you writing stories that you're passionate about? How are these things coming about?
I've been kind of I think I spent as much as I could taking a back seat last year and sort of being like almost everything I wrote, I would be like, I'm new, I'm not an expert, but here's my take. And I was just kind of trying to like soak it all up because, before I was stepped out and wanted to like be like, here's an opinion worth listening to.
Yeah.
But there was some stuff that I felt like I had a really strong connection to. It has been fascinating and is really invigorating, and then has also like in some ways been challenging. I think I had to stop reading the comments for a bit. It's like the sort of like
it can be brutal.
They can be brutal.
Yeah.
And I was kind of expecting like, oh, I know how to deal with like rich douchebags. Like I was like all prepped for that. And then I was like, oh, there's some people who are just kind of like really mean about the minutia.
Yeah.
And so that kind of was both just sort of feedback on like in a way that I needed to step up my game, where it's like, okay, there are things that I maybe wouldn't have considered taking seriously that I now have to take seriously because it's important to this ecosystem. And then there was some other stuff where it's just like, all right, dude. But I think I've met a lot of really great, interesting, smart people who I'm always kind of invigorated by other people being really excited and passionate about things. Because I think I'm like pretty even keel. All of my interests are like TV and like they're very boring and basic. So when I meet people who are really into really specific things, I love that energy and I love those people. Yeah. And so that's kind of been the best part about it.
Especially in the watch world, a lot of those people bring so much enthusiasm. You say the way like people's faces light up. We saw that all night at the Complecta event. Like there was that one guy, I think Jorge, we ran into. Yeah. He brought like 4 watches with him. One of them was the pocket watch. It was, we remember what
I don't remember what kind it was, but he was rocking the pocket watch. He had double wrists. He had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, he was definitely very enthusiastic.
Yeah,
but it was great to see, and kind of like to both of you guys' stories is like just being lovers of things and stuff, and like it's all relative and all ties into everything because I've always shared, how I got into my passion. It was my father. My father wore a Rolex for years, and I didn't know the value of it at a young age, but I knew it was something that was very, 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 very special.
And
And
we're
when you
recording a Father's Day episode.
everybody's like, shout out to the dads. Yes.
Facts.
Yes. We gotta definitely give the
facts.
dads the flowers, give the parents the flowers, because they definitely.
But it's funny, like where these things come from,
Mm-hmm.
and where you find yourself. I mean, 10 years ago, I wasn't super passionate about watches, and then spending more time with like my grandfather, and understanding that like he was someone who collected watches, and then everything that happened during COVID, I just kind of fell back into it, and then my relationships with these guys kind of reinvigorating that spirit. One of the things he did recently that I really, really enjoyed, the 3-on-3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because we know Malika and Bryn, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Because they're a lot of fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah. Tell us about that. What was that like?
That was just really, it was chaotic how much fun we had.
How did it come about?
It was that 3-on-3 had kind of been not sunset, but like that we hadn't done one in a while, and they were like, okay, well, wouldn't it be cool if like we had women talking? Like, you're new, Bryn's kind of in the ecosystem, Malika's cool and kind of newly in the ecosystem. Like, let's get the three of you together. Like, we'd all met and kind of like really liked each other. And so the theme around it was a little different. They're usually very specific, where it's like best pilots watches for under $10,000, and they were just like, well, you're all relatively new to the industry. Like, what is sort of like your version of what a success watch would look like? And that will sort of beget the conversation of like what it is to be a woman in the industry and kind of like how it's been so far.
Yeah.
So that came along and was Davey, his last video that he shot for us. So it was just like a really great afternoon.
Oh, Davey, that's our friend Dave's friend. I think Dave knows Davey.
Yeah, Davey.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Wavy Davey, yeah.
Yes. Wait. So
Yeah.
you shot Dave too?
You were there when they shot Dave.
3-on-3, but I was there for the Grand Seiko. I shot the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I shot Dave. Yes.
Yes.
That's so funny. So he's no longer with Hodinkee. He went on to do something else. Okay, got it. Cool. What I loved about the 3-on-3 was exactly what you said in terms of like how it came together. The fact that like, and this is something that Bryn really champions that I love, just making watches fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
So
it doesn't
fun.
have to be this. There's enough stiff guys in the industry.
Yeah,
we don't
exactly.
need any more of them. And having a new take is not only healthy, but it's great for the industry. But then you also have, you're creating a space for all of these other people who don't have these avenues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To experience watch talk, which is exactly what we do. And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been really, I had kind of my prejudice of what the watch world was, where it was just sort of like gonna be a bunch of like old white guys.
Yeah.
And then I got in and I saw that there were so many other like Black people, people of color, and women doing things. And so it feels like a very exciting time
It does.
to enter this space.
Yes.
And to sort of help in the ways that we can kind of dispel the idea that like, oh, it's just for like old rich dudes. And it's just like, if you take 5 extra seconds, you'll find that it's not.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. What's it like now? Like being in the space that you two are, you are privy to more happenings and seeing stuff that's in the industry. What does it seem like now? How does it feel to see like more women of ascending to power in the watch world? Like we have Jenny, who just became CEO of AP. More people of color getting into the watch world. What is that like for you guys?
It feels great.
Did it feel like you were alone?
There was times
yeah.
way in the beginning
Yeah.
before Nora came along. Like things have changed a lot in the past like couple of years, to where it was very white and Black in the watch world.
Yeah.
You go to a watch event and there's not that many of us, to now you go somewhere and there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
So things have changed a lot. Even in Watch and Wonders, it still was a mixed crowd. I'm pretty sure I've never been to Watch and Wonders before this year, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't exactly the same, because I've been to events where it wasn't exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see the diversity that's changed in these last couple of years, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
speaks volumes.
That's
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I think that's the initiative now, just to what, I was talking about, just being connected with the brand.
Mhm.
You can actually now like DM the CEO. You could DM the watchmaker. You could have a CEO on the show. You'd have somebody that's actually open. We can have, editors from Hodinkee to come and sit down with, just like watch enthusiasts and kind of like bridge the gap.
Mhm.
Because for a long time, we did feel excluded. We didn't have a voice. Not even so much as people of color, just like I'll even say like just your everyday person.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't afford half the watches that like Hodinkee covers, but I'm a watch enthusiast.
Yeah.
But I still deserve to be in that space. And that's something that, Jason has shared as well.
Yeah.
It's like, don't think that you have to get a Royal Oak before you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
have a conversation with somebody that does.
It's like Jason said. That's kind of what we were talking about having a diverse group of people at Complecto. Where it's like, as long as you like watches, you belong here. That's it. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what you have, what can you afford. Do you like this? Then it's for you.
Mhm.
I always find it more interesting too when you have that person who. There was like this gentleman we ran into at Swatch
Mm-hmm.
who just collects Swatch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like could probably afford a Rolex, whatever he wants, but he's got every single Swatch. Like those people
Yeah.
are so fascinating to me.
It's nuts.
Yeah, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, I do. I was
Yeah.
going to say that, like, while I think we did see a lot of women and people of color, it's like we still definitely need more. Like there were
I think-
spaces
yeah, we
where
do.
it was like we
Yeah,
were like
yeah.
we were
could
still rooms where it was
definitely
just
use
us.
more.
Yeah,
That's what my
Please
wife
come.
says all the time. She's like, "Where are all the black women at?"
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh yeah.
"Babe, we're working on getting them."
Mhm.
You know, but
I mean,
I think that was cool about the Complecto event too, because it was an excuse for all of us to see one another,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where we typically don't, at least not in that volume,
Mhm.
right? And so for me, it was like eye-opening. It was like, wow, okay, like this is a lot bigger than I thought. I'm not alone in this,
Mhm.
and that was really nice. Speaking of Watches and Wonders, the two of you went to Watches and Wonders,
We did
had a lot of fondue.
so much fun.
So can we talk about that for a second? What
That's
is
like
it
a
with the
running
Swiss
joke
and
of
cheese?
fondue.
Yo, we need to
What's-
make
what's-
this
what's-
episode a lot of fondue. A lot of
There we
fondue.
go,
Lot of
ladies and
fondue.
gentlemen. Lot of fondue, episode 24. So what is it with Watches? Because so the thing was, and we were talking about this off camera for a little bit, but like when Watches and Wonders were going down, like you guys are in Switzerland, we're here in New York. So if I want to see watches first, I'm counting on everyone that's over there to post something on the feed.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm scrolling at like midnight. I'm starting. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And you've seen some great stuff. So I'll stay up for like 2-3 hours. I go to bed and I know I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I'm gonna catch some more stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I wake up in the morning and I just see everyone over there eating melted cheese. Because it's like now it's like after hours, the party has started and everyone's
Yeah.
got like a beer in one hand, a glass of wine, and then like feeding each other like
You gotta
breads with
have the
like
wine.
fondue on
Gotta
it.
have wine.
What was going on in Switzerland?
I mean, like, you're working how long? We're up before it's time to go to Watch and Wonders.
Yeah.
I know for me, I'm like up at the crack of dawn, like editing watches for
Mhm.
you guys to see.
And we appreciate
So, like,
it.
Yeah.
I'm
you for
glad
your
you
hard
guys
work.
do.
I'm not a morning person, so I'm not.
That makes
I'm
two
a
of
morning
us. I hate the
person. I'm not
mornings.
a night person. So,
Okay.
like, I'm knocked out. Like after the fondue, the wine, I'm getting to my hotel and I'm just dead asleep.
Like I'm out of this.
It's over. So in the morning, right before it's time to go to Watch and Wonders, I'm editing photos
Oh man.
so you guys can see what's ready.
Yeah.
Because I can't edit on a sleepy. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like fondue is like
It's
what you can eat.
it's kind of like the Swiss thing. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like if a bunch of people descended on New York City, you'd see like pizza slices.
Sure.
Gotta have your fondue.
It is good. I love melted cheese in all its varieties.
It's amazing.
The pizza in Switzerland though,
They
is
have
not great.
That's the thing is that it is. The Swiss are good at many things. Food outside of fondue is.
So the
Yeah,
fondue is
gotta have
pretty
a good
much the
fondue.
height.
It's like safe to get fondue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
your fondue with your bread, your potatoes.
Mhm.
You can get a brisket.
Oh,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
good. I'm not mad at that.
It's also like going to fondue with your coworkers is kind of like the thing to carve out time for. Like
Sure.
everyone's kind of all over the place and has different brand dinners,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right, we can gather each other and like,
Literally
have
sounds
some
like
fun.
fun.
Fondue.
yeah, fun.
Fondue.
We
It's
can
a
meet
fun.
for
It's a
fondue.
fun
Fun
do.
thing to do.
Yeah,
Perry trying to make
Have
a
some
pun of it.
drinks.
Fondue.
eat
But
some
so what
potatoes.
was watches in Switzerland like for you too? I mean, for us, we're back home, sad we're missing out.
Sorry,
Got online trying to get moon swatches, couldn't
Yeah.
get that.
I was gonna say moon
We're
swatches
just striking out.
it was like right before. Yeah,
It was
Moon
right
swatch happened
before
right
Watches
before.
and Wonders.
And everyone looked like they're having so much fun. But what was that experience like? What did you like? What did you hate?
I liked
Tiffany's like
all the coffee.
Okay,
It was really great because again, I started 2021. Not a lot of stuff was open, so it was really like one of the first times I got to handle a ton of watches in a row.
tight.
Like I would get stuff. If I'm in the office, I try things on. Sometimes I'd have brand appointments, but to just sort of like try on a wide variety of stuff back to back to back was really
Yeah.
great. I have kind of a less because I don't write as much. I don't write as much in like news stuff as our writers do. I sit back and I edit. I had kind of more of a like. I was able to like sit in one spot. I had kind of an easier version of it while they all kind of like took all these appointments. But it was really great to see kind of the team in their element where when things like embargoes lifted or we all just sat and like wrote together and to
Yeah.
kind of see all of these people who I don't get to work with all the time kind of like really do their thing was really great. And it's also just the people watching is just
I bet.
incredible.
Yeah.
And it was also like a great, like I met a bunch of other people from different watch pubs who I'd never met
Nice.
before. So it was a really like professionally, it was a great place to be. It was exhausting, but yeah.
Was there anything that like kind of stopped you in your tracks in terms of any of the watches that you did see? 'Cause I know you saw so much and you're taking so many pictures. It's probably overwhelming at some point. But was there anything you was like, wow, this is special?
I gotta say Rolex was the best appointment.
Okay.
It's between Rolex and Cartier,
Okay.
right? Like
Cartier was
What did it for you?
I'm like, I don't know, because Cartier, the all blacked out Cartier Santos was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Then you had the mass
The
Mysterious.
mysterious.
Yes.
Yeah,
No one
that
knows how to
was-
say it.
I got to
Mysterious.
touch that a couple of times, so that was a really
Spin it
interesting-
the crash.
Yeah.
Oh, that
the
enamel.
green
With
and
the
it- yeah.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, who doesn't want to touch a crash in person?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then you have the Rolex Yachtmaster,
Mm.
the all blinged out one that I shot on your wrist. That
Mhm.
one was like
That gem set
amazing.
one with the
Yeah.
pink.
Yeah,
the
that was
sapphire.
on
Sapphire
yours.
pink and the
Sapphires and
sapphires,
diamonds.
yeah.
That was all her wrist.
Really.
That one was crazy.
Even the gold one though, like the gold and black one. Like our CEO Jeff is like a big kid. You know, like kid in a candy store.
It's like a toy store,
Like,
yeah.
Mhm.
He's like that. So, like, but all the appointments equally, like, there was a surprise in every room just about. Tag Heuer had a pretty dope watch. I can't say the name off back, but it was
Sure.
like the all blacked out one.
was it the chronograph?
Was it square or round?
I believe it was a chronograph. I can't remember the name.
I
And then
think
they
they
had
were
the
cool.
sapphire too.
Yeah.
But, like,
I
everyone
think it had the
has-
yellow subdials, right? Was it
Yeah.
black with yellow subdials? Might have been.
It was.
We'll find it. We'll post a
yeah.
picture
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
find
cut
it.
to just a photo.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you took. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Tiffany's
you
photo.
took.
I did take a photo of it though.
Awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff. Van Cleef had a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
We got to handle one
I know.
recently. That was like
That
was my
nice.
first time
Which
seeing one
one?
in person. It was the one with it had the solar system on it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the fashion
Oh,
watches
my
are
daughter
like,
has that in her room. With
Yeah.
the poster of it.
yeah.
She's a Van Cleef poster.
Yeah.
Tight.
That.
Okay,
Serious
so it's
for her.
Friday.
What'd
Respect.
you,
Work
what'd you
perks.
think of Hermes? Because I mean, Van Cleef and Hermes, and I had said it previously, was like those two brands actually like shocked me for watches and wonders.
Hermes had some really cool dials.
Yeah.
There was one. It was like a woman. We can't say that anymore. It was a watch, but it had the Hermes kind of like look to it with the part off of the dial, but I don't know how to say it exactly. but it's a nice watch.
Yeah.
Their collection actually did surprise me this year compared to other years. I feel like we've kind of seen the same thing from them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this year they kind of came out.
They stepped it up.
Yeah, the dials are very detailed. And
The
specific.
responses I saw from people were really great too. From like real like watch enthusiasts, like people care for watch. They were like, "Wow, I remember."
Which
like,
doesn't usually happen.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, they like
Exactly.
you guys
So-
actually did something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was cool. It was really cool to see that. IWC had some cool stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, collectively,
Yeah.
had cool stuff. So
And what about you, Nora? What did you see? Was there anything that kind of just like floored you?
I was really taken with the Van Cleef flower
Mm-hmm.
one that was just
Yes.
so where the timing was
Yeah.
it was conceptually so cool, and then when you think about the mechanics that have to go into that, where it's
Yeah.
like the flower, it's not like one flower and then two, it's like different every single time.
That was the cool thing with a lot of like these
That's
either
how
like
it comes to
luxury companies or like predominantly like jewelry companies. Like they really came out and like delivered some crazy.
It seemed like they were
timepieces.
crafting works of art.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
More than just a timepiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in our presentation, the man who was, I'm forgetting his name, but he was like, we go like concept and idea first, and then the watchmaking follows second. And I think that's so cool and probably such an interesting challenge to go to like someone really technical and be like, what if this reminds you of spring and all of these flowers open
Yeah.
up? And
Yes.
the also best part of that brief was, I think I talked about this before, but he was talking about the watch, the like kiss watch. And he's like,
Yeah.
and we did a lot of research to figure out what the perfect length of a kiss is. And it's 3 minutes. And everyone in the room was like, 3 minutes.
Wow.
But that, and then I really had, I think my first like sparkly eyed, I might have to be financially reckless and get this watch with the black dial Tank Louis Cartier. I just
Yeah.
put that on and
Yeah.
yeah,
Fire.
that was nice on yours too.
it was, I've been thinking about it
Enabler.
nonstop. Yeah.
You know what? I have a bad like thing of saying this looks really nice on your wrist to people.
Mhm.
That's how you get him.
Yeah.
That's how he does me.
I'm not even trying to sell it to them.
I'm
It's like,
the
it really
enabler
looks
of the
nice
group.
on
I say
your
that
wrist.
shit
He's
all
like,
the time.
man, you should
I'm like,
buy
you should
that.
get that. You just buy it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. You like it? Get it.
Mhm.
He's pretty good at that. He got me a couple of times.
I mean, who doesn't want Cartier on their wrist though? So
Truly.
He just got one.
Hey! We're saving that for another episode.
They don't know what it is. It's
Ooh.
okay.
Oh god.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
they
Foreshadowing.
cut this part
I was
out.
thinking about getting
Yeah.
it too. After you got yours.
I'm gonna break it out once I change the strap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm waiting for that
You know,
special.
you keep the
special
original
thing.
Cartier strap.
Oh, I'm gonna keep it. Yeah. I have another one coming.
Mm.
It's from Cartier. It's just
It's
a little crazy.
So now you have to watch it or watch and listen to a couple more episodes.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
planting
to
the
see.
seed,
Yeah,
cliffhanger. Yeah.
Oh man. Speaking of that, like we're big fans of like accessorizing our watches.
Yes.
Switch out straps, even dress around our watches, which is like a new thing for some people. I got into a conversation the other day with someone, another organization we're working with, and they're like, how do you guys style your watches? Which I thought was like such an interesting question. But I kind of want to pose that question to you two. Like, do you think about it in that way? Like when you get up, how do you decide what you're going to wear? Do you have rules for it? Are you organizing your timepieces? Like, this is for special occasions, events. This is my weekender. Like, what's your method? What's the method to your madness?
I mean, Nora's more fashionable.
That's not true. I sort of think,
Says the person with the 700 Yeezys.
yeah.
Hey, you can't call me out. Sneakers.
I kind of think like watch for where I'm going. Like it's more of an occasion based thing, and then I kind of dress around it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of like what of the very limited number of watches that I own?
How
would
many
make
watches
most
do you own
sense?
now?
I have 5. And
It's a lot for some people.
yeah. And there's a like variety
Not
of
this
it.
guy.
Yeah.
Enough for me.
And they're all very special.
I love that.
I have a Movado museum watch, which I bought right when I got the job because I was like, this is right in the like my lane of my style. I like a minimalist thing, and I've kind of when I was starting, someone gave me a piece of advice where they're like, don't buy like a fancy watch in the first year. Your taste is going to change. You're going to be so excited. You
It's
like
true.
sort of know what you're talking about. You're going to have like distortion of like what money should be spent on it. And so that Movado, I really rocked a lot of places my first year. And kind of like, you know, people be like, oh, that's a mall watch. And I was like, yeah, and what of it? Like I kind of had an attitude about it.
It's so crazy how people really try to like impose their opinions.
And I love that watch.
Yeah.
So I do kind of think like, where am I going and what does the watch kind of call for? And how I have watches that I will wear if I'm like, well, what if I forget this watch somewhere? Then like I'll wear that one. Yeah.
No, that's kind of how I do it too. Like, well, I think about what watch I'm going to wear when I get up, and then I dress around that. But I also contextualize where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that'll help me decide too. And so if like I know I'm going to like a cookout at like Uncle Fred's, I'm wearing a G-Shock or a Timex because I'm probably going to do a lot of drinking and mess it up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What about you?
So
How many watches does Tiffany Wade have now? The
Okay,
woman
so-
who shoots them all
I don't know
with a
how-
daughter who's got a Van Cleef poster.
I mean, she has watches too, but I
Yeah.
actually don't know how many watches I own at this point.
So that means you got a
So,
lot.
I don't have a lot. I think I
You got
have a
enough
good
to
amount.
forget.
Well, a lot is subjective.
But I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I don't know how
Is
many.
24 a lot?
Okay, so he's beating me on the 24. I don't have 24.
Okay.
But I like, you know, I don't have. I just don't know how much I have. I haven't counted actually. But like I choose my watch based off of functionality.
Okay.
So it's like it has to do with something what I'm doing for the day. 'Cause I'm a mom,
Mhm.
so like if I'm going to the airport, I'm wearing my Apple Watch because I can just scan in on my Apple Watch
Sure.
for my ticket instead of holding a million things. So it really depends on where I'm going, and it depends on the weather. So the weather, like if it's warmer out, I'm definitely probably gonna pull out a G-Shock.
Yeah.
So it has to depend on where I'm going. And then the outfit comes kind of like, I don't know when the outfit comes.
It's funny how that happens,
Mhm.
It
right?
could come in before and then
Yeah.
I'll probably change the watch after again. Or then maybe I'll be like, oh, I need to wear my Apple Watch and I'll wear the other watch
Yeah.
or something. So
Oh,
it's
so you
double
double
wrist.
wristing.
sometimes.
Respect.
So it's just like, it depends on what I'm doing
Yeah.
and where I'm going.
How's it been watching your taste sort of expand and change? Like, I assume the first watch you got, and maybe not in all cases. Some people still love the very first watch they got, but like, have you gone back at your collection, looked at pieces, and like,
I have lately.
really?
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm like, you know, you think about getting a new piece, you
Yeah.
think about offing old pieces.
Yeah.
And then you think about like, should I off this or should I keep it?
Yeah.
Like that's the hard part. So I don't know. Like I look back at stuff and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Like I have a bronze watch, which I love bronze.
Yep.
It's
Which
Baltic
bronze
Aqua-
piece is this?
Baltic Aquascape.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Love the watch.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, do I still want it?
Yeah.
You know, but I do love it.
Yeah.
So
What made you change your mind on that one?
it's
What?
bronze ages. So it's just the way it ages.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't know if I want that aging anymore.
Sure.
So
Okay. Fair enough. How
But-
about you?
I don't know if I would get rid of anything that I have. I think because right now they just feel still kind of relevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, I'm using them as like to inform any future decisions that I might want. Like that black tank Louis Cartier kind of looks like my Movado museum watch. And so when I was reading it, I was like, do I need it? And then I put it on. I was like, I need it.
Oh, yes, you do.
I need it.
Yes, you do.
I have one watch that I brought from Spring Break Watches, which is like this black-owned watch brand, and it was like $80. And I don't wear it that much, but it's purple, and I'm like, ooh, I miss having like a purple piece. So, yeah, I kind of like everything that I've got. One other piece that I have I got from my mom, and I love it, and it's very delicate, and like that's the special occasion watch. Yeah, I feel like set with what I have, and I want another piece and sort of that feels more intentional.
Have you seen your taste sort of like expand or change at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In what ways?
My first couple of months, I would say until maybe even Watches and Wonders, I was like, you will never see me wear a chronograph. Too busy, too much stuff. I'm not timing anything. Like, I don't need all those buttons. And then I tried on a Zenith and was like, you might see,
Yep.
Oh,
you
sure.
might see me in a chronograph.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff like that has changed. I think kind of my appreciation has grown in a lot of ways, I think, and that has made it harder to sort of figure out what my taste is. But I think the more I see, the more focused it gets.
Yeah, that's true. And it becomes a little more difficult to make a selection because you're questioning everything. And I find myself doing that a lot.
And you also kind of understand like the other things besides being like, oh, I like this material and I like this size that goes into looking good on your wrist.
Yeah.
Like I love a Vacheron 222, but I tried it on and I was like, I don't think this is my watch. And if I'd seen
watch.
heartbroken that it wasn't my watch, but like, now I kind of feel like I have a better idea of all the other things that I would want to consider and look at when looking for a watch besides just like, do I like the dial?
You brought up something interesting too, because you bought a, I forget the name of the brand you mentioned, but black-owned watch. That's something that we haven't talked about enough.
Yes.
But we are starting to see a lot of black-owned watch companies pop up.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law has Italian
Italian twine.
twine.
Yeah.
She wears it.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She wears it all the time. She wears it everywhere. But what's that been like? Like seeing these brands pop up. How's that make you feel? It makes me feel good.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah. It was that teleport watch that actually they were able to get one on Obama.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. I like the fact that, we're kind of getting into horology. I think it kind of like it really started to highlight with Eldridge Hodge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's doing a lot of work.
And kind of like, what he stands for in the watch community. I think it highlights a lot more because of his celebrity, but at the same time, like he puts himself in the position where it quite necessarily doesn't matter. Like
in what way?
Like his celebrity, his celebrity
doesn't
status
matter.
doesn't matter. It's more about
Aldous?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that he said that I love was because he's working on this watch project. He was like, I don't care if I sell one. I just want to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like to me, that's such like a huge statement because you don't see a lot of people of color as like watchmakers.
Yeah, you don't.
Or here's a guy who's like a really popular actor, and then his pastime is like making timepieces, which is really incredible. And to now be into a space where we are not only part of the conversation, but building companies, proving that we can move units.
Yes.
Right. It makes me feel good because now my imagination can run wild. And I'm like, all right, where can this go? Can someone come up that can rival some of these larger companies?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big shoes to fill, but
Yeah.
it's a possibility now.
Yeah. I think the first thing that, we'd have to tackle first is like, I think innovation. Design. I right now, this is my opinion, and I could be totally wrong. I think right now we're focused on design. I think, if we focused on technology and innovation, then I think we would probably see a little bit more of spike in interest because it's like you look at a watch on the outside and you may say, I don't really like it because it looks like this, because there are some brands where you're like, oh, it looks like a poor man's AP.
Yeah,
or that looks like this. It's like, sure, but maybe there's a feature in it that AP doesn't offer, or this doesn't offer, so on and so forth. So I think more of like the technological part is where,
I think there's definitely a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah.
But like even like our friend Jose, just like seeing all of these like people of color that are like now becoming like legit watchmakers.
Jose's a legit watchmaker.
Jose is like
legit.
super legit.
So crazy enough, I actually got to visit the Patek service center, and I was surprised when I seen how many watchmakers were actually like of color. To see women that were watchmakers.
That's awesome.
To see Hispanics.
Their head watchmaker at Patek here in New York at Rockefeller Center, the person who's in charge of like the other 40 people is a Hispanic guy.
Yeah.
Well, I think even and Richard was talking to us about that. So we visited Sotheby's watch department recently and got to hang out with the homie Richard Lopez.
Yep.
Shout out to Richard.
Shout out to Richard.
And his crew, Jana and Christina.
Yep.
Who were gracious hosts. And he was talking about that too. And it's part of the reason why he's such a big fan of the show is just the continual like seeing this growth of young people, people of color, women, just people who weren't traditionally part of the conversation now like ingrained in it.
I think there's like a big opportunity for, I think what we kind of, you're right, what we kind of don't see in a lot of Black owned brands is kind of high horology, like innovation in the mechanical space. But I keep thinking that there is some opportunity for almost like a crossover watch brand company where it's like Telfar. Telfar bags hit a sweet, like the right price point. They feel luxury. They say something, but they're faux leather. Like it's just kind of like there's a moment and there's something that can be. I think that like is just like rife, like waiting to happen.
Take it and run with it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting take. That's very interesting. So, continuing on, we talked about how your taste level have expanded in watch collecting. It still sounds like you two still describe yourselves as being very new to watches in some regard.
I guess like I feel like I'm new in regard of collecting.
Yeah.
In regard of seeing, touching, and feeling a watch, I'm not.
Sure.
Yeah.
So where I'm going with this, what I wanted to ask, one of the questions we always ask is like, what piece did it for you? And I'm curious for each of you, what was that? Because like you got the job, you bought a watch, right? I'm sure a similar thing happened with you, just because like now you're in the culture, like all right, I need a watch on my wrist.
Sooner or later.
But at what was the piece, and when did it strike where you were like, I get it because I have to have that one?
I mean, like Clarence. Shout out to Clarence if he watches this. You put a Royal Oak on me.
Okay,
and
that'll do it.
Well, yeah.
So you got we have AP in the collection.
No.
Oh, I was like, word.
That was like putting that on my wrist and like feeling it on my wrist is what made me be like, okay, like what do I get now? Like how do I get this watch and when could I buy this watch? Feeling like the weight and like just how it felt. And then how it looked on my wrist, like
it's nice
because Clarence is a photographer too. So I'm like, I got a nice photo that I didn't take on my wrist.
Yeah.
Like this is nice. Like so that makes you want to buy.
Sure.
You know, you want to buy a watch.
Yeah.
I put on for the Crown and Caliber video, I put on a Calatrava.
Nice.
And that kind of really just felt different. Like
that's how I felt when I put on my first Patek.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I need one.
There was something about it. And then recently I put on just a Vacheron Patrimony and I could kind of feel the heart of the watch.
It's from their heritage line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I really love that line.
And that was kind of the first watch I felt where I was like, I think I care about what's inside of this watch.
Yeah,
and I can feel the difference and the like Maltese cross balance weight in the back. I'm just like, I could see myself like taking this off and showing the back to someone. And that felt like a step in kind of my watch knowledge experience.
It's funny how that happens too. And then because one of the things I always go back to is AP, because I remember like seeing them all the time, like in hip hop videos or on TV and magazines, and even on people's wrists. But like when you actually try one on, when you actually touch it, it's like, oh, okay. I think I am an AP dude.
When you put it on your wrist, you want to become an AP person.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, talk to me nice. Like,
you start doing all that.
And the worst part is like when someone's like, man, that looks so nice on your wrist. I think that fits you. You're like, man, it does.
That's usually you though.
Well, I have a small wrist, so like I can't wear a Speedmaster Omega because it looks like
you can wear a Speedy.
Just get like a
Speedies are for
just get it reduced.
It is my wrist though. I feel like it's like huge on my wrist, so I don't know.
So in terms of community, Obviously, you two have fostered one for yourselves at Hodinkee. But what does the watch community look like for the two of you outside of Hodinkee? Are there more Black women involved in watches than we realize? Where are they? Where can we find them? Where can we get them on the show?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is
I
that
mean, like,
I just want to meet more. I want to meet more people.
like woman wise.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know to say like per se like Black women specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like there are a lot more women
Mhm.
involved in the watch community than you think.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, Kara started that a long time ago.
Okay.
When I even started the job, just like her talking about unisex and watches.
Yeah.
Like, that was like a groundbreaking thing at the time. And there weren't that many women even in the office at that time. So like it's grown a lot. And it was nice to go to Watch and Wonders and see a lot of women around in Watch and Wonders because like in the States, like here, you don't see that that much.
No.
So I think from being at Watch and Wonders and then like even the Complecto event showed.
Complecto
like,
event was awesome.
Yeah, like there were so many women there. It was
There
ridiculous.
was.
I was like, wait, where did you guys come from?
Mhm.
I finally got to meet Miss Lydia Winters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, no, that was
Shout out to
fantastic. She was
Lydia.
awesome.
I mean, like I've been a fan of hers, and she's been a fan of mine.
It's funny, I'm
We've
a
been
fan of-
fanning each other.
Yeah.
Fanning out.
Yeah, like oh my God, I'm a fan of you. So you know, it's
it's
cool
great.
to see that.
That's awesome. I actually had several months ago, I DM'd her, just like,
Yeah,
it's like how much I loved her work. And I didn't get a response. I was like, you know,
Mhm.
small fries, whatever. And then she DM'd the wrist check page
Okay.
like a month before she was coming to New York. She's like, I love you guys. I'm coming to New York. I want to meet. It was like, what do we do? And then we find out we're both going to the Complecto event. She's awesome.
Yeah,
She's
Yeah.
tons of fun. She's an amazing photographer.
Yeah.
She has that podcast with her other friend too that they just started, where they just talk about like watch photography. I don't know if you've
Check
seen
it
this.
out.
It's pretty tight. I'll
Oh,
send you a
nice.
link.
Yes, yes, and that's
Yeah, it's dope. But yeah, I think, you know, that's something that we talk about all the time. Like what's been nice from starting this show is actually being able to like bring people together. Not only bring people together, but also like introduce this culture of watches that we love to people. One of my best friends just bought like his first timepiece. He bought a King Seiko.
Yes.
Yeah, from the Minuteman
Yes.
down in Queens.
That's my boy now.
We gotta go give him a visit.
Yeah, we definitely do.
At the Queens Center Mall.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. But it's fun, you know, and I think that we felt it at the Complecto event, just like it was the start of something like incredibly special. And so I'm always curious, like, how do we get more people of color involved? And I think it just comes down to us doing our own events.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we just have to start. We got to have some wrist check events pop up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just understanding that, you know, we do belong in this space. You know, it's fine because, you know, the instant gratification isn't going to come, you know? Just the fact, even like with our show and what we do is like, yeah, great. So we don't have 20, 30,000 listeners, you know, the views aren't off the charts, whatever. I mean, it will be soon.
Yeah.
So
It's building.
It's building, but
It's
it's the simple fact, like, you know, I think with technology and just how people think nowadays, it's like, oh, if it's not popping right now, then that ain't it.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna give up, or, you know, they want to go ahead and do something that's clickbaity or whatever it is. But, you know, you just have to steer your course and do your own thing.
I agree with that so much. And it's what's cool too is that now like pop culture is starting to come in and we're seeing, I mean, it's been there with watches with guys like Hove and stuff like that, but now you have like the Pusha T's,
Yep.
the Cardi B's, you know,
The Tylers, the Frank
Tyler
Oceans.
Creators,
Everybody,
the Frank
yeah.
Oceans, and like they're actually now having to start like they're starting like Watch Talk, whether it's in their music or in their interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's a point of interest. Interest is a point of reference for them to kind of like what we talk about with Tom, like show what they know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and expand on what they know, which I think is awesome. What are you two hoping to see in the remainder of the year in the industry?
I haven't seen the 222 in person yet.
Neither
so
have I know it's for
I'm
me.
hoping that's going to come across my hands very
222 is
soon.
for the crew.
Besides that, I really don't know because there's just no telling what's going to end up.
I feel like we're
In my
in
hands.
store for like another
Right.
really big like bomb drop from someone.
I mean, before the year's over,
Yeah.
couple, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
I know we're gonna get another one from Patek.
For sure.
Mhm.
Oh, that's yeah.
No, no.
I'm gonna be quiet.
But you can't say on the mic, I can't talk.
Yeah.
Then everyone's gonna be, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows something.
Get ready.
What are you
What's the
hoping to see?
photographer?
I know you see it all. You see it all. But we'll
Yeah.
talk some, look at some pictures after the show.
You're getting in trouble.
I won't say nothing. I promise. Sorry, Ben. What are you hoping to see? Industry wise, piece wise, what's happening?
Piece wise, the thing that I have not like had enough time with is kind of like micro brands or smaller brands. Like I want to
Yeah.
see an Anordain. Like there are
Yeah.
a couple of like,
I haven't seen one in person yet either, but I'm
Yeah.
in love with them.
yeah,
And like every time they go up for sale online, I'm like plotting like just hit buy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
that
feel like I might regret it. I don't know.
that and like a
Beautiful.
Ming. Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
like micro brands that I really want to see in person. Industry wise, I think just more. I would love like again more Black women. I missed the last Complecto, so I'm coming to the next one because I had FOMO.
And that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, I think just more excitement from. I think I kind of want to get like more like fashion girlies into it. Like I feel
Yeah.
like that is kind of something that like
It's a
we could
wave.
really
Yeah, and like even just looking at like it's funny because we've become like almost like best friends with Bryn.
Yes. Yo, I was gonna
She's
say,
the best.
Yo, we just seen Brennan like the
She was in like a
the Hermes commercial.
He's like, you see
nice.
this?
Like, so I sent it in the group chat and I was like, yo, my girl is winning. Shout out to Bryn.
Mhm.
She's a legend. She's
the
amazing.
best. She plugs us all the time. She's always introducing us to people.
Mhm.
She is so about it.
Yeah.
And we are so appreciative of her. But like she's hilarious.
Yeah. She's such a good mix of like someone who has like a really great product in her Instagram account and then is
Yeah.
just like such a great person where it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, people want to be in your orbit because you're a good
They
person
really
and
do.
you want to like put that energy back out there. So
Yes. She actually like the perception of her actually is what you think it is.
Mhm.
Like she is fun, she's bubbly.
She is.
Like,
Mhm.
you know, and then when you put the face to the name, because she does post a lot of things.
She's a great writer too.
Yes. So when like, you know, when she does post the things that she covers and stuff, and then like she posts like a photo of herself, it's like, oh man, we need more of this.
That's
Yeah.
why she had her with the cheeseburger on her birthday. Did you
Yes.
guys see that?
Mhm.
It was hilarious. I was
No,
like-
she's just like, she could do no wrong.
she's
Mhm.
awesome.
I do
She's
like how
great.
she does like she'll take photos and they're like the most like nicest thing, but she just takes it in the like her way.
Yeah.
And
She has an
like,
aesthetic.
It's cool, though.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
it's got its own like high low things. Going
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's almost like very like American Apparel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Bryn American.
Yeah. Cool without being like trying too hard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I also, Fernanda, I can never, Gigantum, the PR, she was at Complecto. Fernanda, she's great. She's someone who's really
she's great. She's just Zenith H Moser.
a Moser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's great.
She was our wrist shot for the Complecto event. She was the first shot.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's great. So we've gotten to, I think, kind of like connect with a lot of other women, a lot of
Yeah.
other women of color. Not that many Black women, I would
Are
say.
there any like women watch meets?
There are some women watch meetups.
Yeah.
I haven't been to any yet,
Mhm.
but
You
Oh,
gotta
they
start
did
it.
an event that was basically
Mhm.
for all their
Phillips one.
recently.
Yeah. Zoe Abelson kind of puts together events for women in watches. So
That's
yeah,
dope.
it's coming together.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's all coming. 2023. Watch out.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
It's our year. We'll have 30,000 followers by then.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone will have 222s on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's
We'll
not
be
Or
222
even-
ambassadors.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
BC, make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a real treat. I'm glad we got you all to track down here with us and
Thanks
spend
for-
some time with us.
Yeah, this is great. We were both texting each other. We're like, we're so nervous. And then we sat down and
I
we're
hope
like, oh,
we
this
made
is
this
just fun.
comfortable.
Yeah. It's a good time.
The
I know
cameras don't
you
exist.
prefer to be behind the camera, but we
I
appreciate
used
you
to be
being
behind the camera.
being on the
Mhm.
I
camera
didn't even bring a
tonight.
camera with me today.
What?
Wow.
I was hoping to get some
Yeah,
wrist
Camera in
shots.
your pocket. You got
Saturday.
We got
I mean, it's
phone.
Memorial Day weekend. I was like, I'm not touching a camera
I feel
all
you.
weekend.
Mhm.
I
Oh
feel
yeah,
you.
you're on vacation.
Life
I'm on
goes.
vacay while I can be on it. So,
Respect.
Love it.
Respect.
Semi-vacay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we appreciate the two of you for trekking down here and doing our little show, hanging out with us, and more to your endeavors and everything you got going on for this year. You're always leaving laughs throwing me off.
I'm like, if you only knew.
Oh man.
Tiffany and her secrets.
I'm not gonna press you. I'm not gonna press
There's a lot
you.
of little things going on.
There's a lot of little things. Well, I hope they're all good things.
Oh, definitely good stuff.
Awesome. I can't
Good
wait to
stuff.
see it.
I feel like there's a lot of exciting things to see this year coming.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
especially this summer. We've got some fun stuff coming.
So what
up.
you're basically telling me, these laughs mean there's a
I mean,
lot of
just
heat
like-
coming.
Yeah.
There's a
there's
lot of heat.
She's trying to hold her tongue.
There's a lot
Mhm.
of heat coming, but I have to hold my tongue. So,
We might have to do an
I like
unplugged
just, you know,
version.
have-
Yeah.
This episode.
It's all B-roll.
Witness protection.
yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll do like
Change my
we'll
voice.
do like what we did with Hodinkee. We'll
Mhm.
put the
Your blurry
The-
face out.
yeah.
Your voice. Change your voice.
how does Hodinkee feel about Brodinky?
I mean, I like Hodinkee.
Yeah.
Respect.
Bro, Dinky's a shit.
I feel like the writers all like Hodinkee.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, it's a good, like, comic relief for us.
He's a
and we
good
could
dude
laugh
too.
at ourselves, too.
Yeah.
through
That's the
him.
most important thing, and that's what we talked about with
I
him
mean,
too.
I laugh at myself all the time because, like, there'll be, like, I don't know if anyone else ever sees, like, my little mess ups, but it'll just be, like, this one little mess up.
Like in the picture, you see it,
yeah, and
and
I'm,
you're
like,
like,
cracking up laughing at shit.
Yes, yes.
But, like, I have to laugh it off. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's already seen it, right?
Sure.
So, but probably no one else has seen it. It's probably only me seeing it.
yeah,
That's the other part.
That's true.
Too. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. So I can't wait for all the heat that you won't tell us about, but I know it's coming.
it's coming.
I trust you. I trust you. But very, very appreciative to have you join us tonight.
Thank you.
And to everyone out there in TV and Podland, you know where to find us. If you don't, on Instagram at WristCheckPod. We're also on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. My name is Perry.
I'm Ben.
This is Rashawn,
This is Rashawn.
and we'll see you next week. There you go, Steven.